also to create a security reality inside its territory. It's built in a Kurdish area where the water will be a constraint for guerrillas who are fighting against the Turkish oppression to move. So the Turkish dam and the Turkish dams actually, because the Ilis dam is part of the GAP project, is built on an idea to create security by controlling water and by filling wide areas of water. One is the Iraqi marshlands, and in the Iraqi marshlands, the story, because there is a lack of water, and the campaign started working since 2012. Even the Iraqi government didn't consider the importance of the marshlands. After a lot of work, the marshlands have been recognized last year. It was part of this initiative as a World Heritage, in the World Heritage of UNESCO. And we hope that it's still there because it's dangerous, so it might be also challenged again. So all this story is not complete if we don't see the regional, let's say, conflict about water. Iran is doing the same. It's building a Daryan dam, but it's doing it a different way because there is no information about the dams that they are building. There is even very difficult to find a photo for the dams. That's why my campaign have put as a report, the Daryan Dam report, as an important thing to do, and we have completed this report, and I'm happy to present it for the first time because it's just a report about the Daryan Dam. So the story of the Daryan Dam is almost similar of Ilis Dam, but it's the government and the state is changed. So Iran is building again in Kurdistan, in the Iranian territory, a dam that controls security control of people and control of water. And not only a dam, actually, because after the dam, they want to put a channel. And these channels will pump water back into the borders of Iraq. So no water will arrive to the other country, to the Iraq. And it's one of the tributaries, the Silwan River, that the dam will be built there, which goes inside Iraq and create what we know in Iraq as the Diyala River. So the impact of the Daryan Dam is really huge. We are talking about projects of water in Halabja and Suli that are still ongoing. They are building projects for water that will never have a water. So the contradiction, because these projects, either Ilis or Daryan Dam, are done without negotiation, without studying the impact, without studying the impact on the downstream countries. And this is one of the issues. We have talked about agreements and conventions. With Iraq and Turkey and Iran, there is no clear agreement about water, but there are international standards, principles also. You cannot just change a river without negotiating with the downstream country, at least without understanding the impact on your own country and the downstream country. Here would be, of course, the drinkable water, fishing. We are talking about areas that are also visited because they are beautiful, they have lakes, they have water. Without this, let's say, with this dam, the change will affect all of these sectors: tourism, fishing, drinkable water, irrigation. And we are talking about not only the region of Kurdistan of Iraq, but the overall Iraq. And there is the complexity, because this will create tension between the north of Iraq and the south of Iraq, because the north of Iraq will build more dams because there is less water. So this dam is built in a context where everyone is looking for water, and it will create more dams. And actually, the strategy for local authorities now to build dams, it becomes like a one city, one province talking with the other saying, don't build a dam, or you should build. Here's an idea on the Daryan village, where nearby the Daryan dam, and then the Silvan River that comes inside the Iraqi borders, and their idea is to put the dam and then channel again the water back to the territories. Of course, our message here is a bit complex. We are not only talking about water, actually. We are talking about this peaceful future of this area. So why water is used as a weapon? Why water is used as a tool for political hegemony? It's not a question of, you know, irrigation or energy or electricity. Like this in other regions in the Middle East and the region of the Tigris and Euphrates, it's not like this. It's about power. It's about political hegemony. And the international community is heavily involved there. There with, you know, you say, I am here to fight against extremism, a fight against Daesh, and there is the whole problem, like the Mosul Dam that can collapse, Turkey that's cutting water on Iraq, Iran that's cutting water on I don't know whom, Syria that is there in the middle, nobody is negotiating. So what kind of peace we want? We want a sustainable peace. Water is an element for a sustainable peace. This is the message of Solidarity campaign. Why don't you see water as a tool for sustainable peace? Water doesn't know if you are Kurd or Arab. You need to drink water. The river will pass by you. If you close the, well, normally, if you stop a river, it will find a way because it has to go on, regardless of your religion or your identity or your ethnicity. This is rivers. That's why our message here is that you cannot stop water. You cannot. Water is something that you share as you share the air, as you share a message from this campaign, and this is something that we would like really involve also a discussion with social realities like you, and that's why we are present in social in the globalization conference. We try also to build a partnership everywhere it's possible. So there are some of our the hashtag to follow our information. Thanks a lot.
Da har vi klart for deg, Selmund. Vi håper at dette noe som gjør noe med. Norge har gjort en del på Norden for samarbeid. Kanskje du skal si noe om det. Kanskje noe også om internasjonale vurderinger og Norge som internasjonal aktør. Vær så god. Jo,
Jeg tenkte jeg skulle begynne med mitt navn Selmund Høgland. Jeg jobber i Nord nå, men har også jobbet en del år i mange på ambassader. Jeg tenkte bare skulle begynne å si at det var ikke så farlig for jeg sto, for jeg hadde ikke sånn jeg har ikke lagt en PowerPoint-presentasjon som de andre. Men nå bruker jeg kartet som Tore har lagt her, så det er viktig for meg at jeg ikke står i veien. Det viser. Jeg tror vi har planlagt å si mye av det samme med 3 foredragsholdere, men la meg det være. Vi kan prøve å... Vi har 10 minutter hver, så jeg skal også begrense meg til det, så kan vi utvidde med spørsmål litt. Det var spørsmål om hvor jeg da et annet foredrag var. I'm not that familiar with Tigris, but it was very interesting to listen to your presentation about conflicts and cooperation for and possibilities for cooperation, and also limitation and constraints. And I guess we'll discuss that later on. Nilen begynner jo i Burundi helt sør. Nilen er Burundi og Rwanda. Og rennet har, det 11 land som med i Nilen-bassenget. Burundi, Rwanda, Kongo, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Etiopia. Dette 11 land hvor vel 10 av dem, det var Tanzania som ikke har hatt militær konflikt de siste 10-15 år. Ellers har resten vært i land militær konflikt siden Og det stadig mer. Vi vet jo hva som skjer i Sør-Sudan, vi vet hva som skjer i Sudan. Eritrea, Kenya var der opprør for noen år siden. Vi har alle informasjon om hva som skjer i Rwanda og Burundi. Utfordringer i Egypt store. Det som jeg ble bedt om å si hva Norge kan gjøre og kan gjøre, og la meg prøve å ha et fokus på det. På slutten av 1990-tallet så sa vannministeren i alle Nilen-landene, så kom de sammen, så sa de at de erkjente med å jobbe sammen. Dette kan ikke være en elv som hvert enkelt land styrer det eget forgodtbefinnende, men må få til en eller annen samarbeidsorgan på dette. Det medførte at Verdensbanken, etter den felles erklæringen, Kuban-fødte, utviklet såkalt Nile Basin Initiative. Det var et stort program på et par $100 millioner, cirka. Jeg må ikke ta det eksakte tallet, for det må sjekke i så fall. Men et stort program som mange land støttet. Norge, Sverige, Danmark, Finland, Nederland, EU, Kanada. Mange land var med og bidro til et felles fond, Trust Fund i Verdensbanken, som støttet landene til å utvikle felles institusjoner for forvaltning av Nilen. Dette Nile Basin Initiative, Nilen-initiativet, var delvis referert til her, for det ble opprettet kontor, altså institusjoner i flere land, hvorav den i Uganda. Det var i Entebbe. En institusjon som ble kalt for NILECOM, altså Nile-kommisjonen, som skulle være samarbeidsorganet om Nilen. Og at dette organet skulle være møteplass for landet, hvor det ble informert om hva tenker Rwanda gjøre med tanke på utbygging av et kraftanlegg. Hva vil Nia gjøre med irrigasjon nær Victoriasjøen, som har betydning for hvor mye vann som renner ned, og hva planlegger gjør, i så fall av vann som kommer fra enten Blå-Nilen eller Hvite-Nilen, for å bruke mer vann til irrigasjon, som har stor betydning for den slags. Og hva planlegger Egyptia, ikke minst, Etiopia, på kraftverksutbygginger. Der var det mange smådammer som var planlagt, frem til plutselig Etiopia kom med sin Gerd-dam i cirka år 2020. Dette er jo en region som var vist også på denne plansjen her, verdens lengste elv, mange land i konflikt, sa jeg, stor befolkning og stor befolkningsøkning, og et område hvor vi kan se store klimaendringer. Derfor var dette etterspurt fra landene om en assistans for å komme med dette, med samarbeidet. Det var også etablert institusjoner i ulike land for å styrke kompetansen i de landene på forvaltning av et felles vassdrag. Dette er et grensekryssende vassdrag. Jeg har gjort meg fascinere litt av titelen på seminaret her, for det står grenseløse utfordringer. Jeg har ikke tenkt på det før, men det skal jeg prøve å huske å bruke. Vi snakker om grensekryssende vassdrag, og at dette er et medium for samarbeid, som er viktig at landene må samarbeide om dette. Sånn som vi gjør på noen i Norge, og sånn som skjer i stor grad i Europa, Rhinen og Donau, og som må gjelde for Nilen. Det var lagt mye arbeid i dette, å få til et samarbeid, og landene samarbeider. Noen av landene har ratifisert, altså denne Nile-kommentaren på undertegnet i 2010, men den er jo ikke gyldig, for det er ikke nok land har ratifisert. Og Sudan og Egypt har satt seg det på grunn av det som var nevnt, 14b, som heter snakk om current uses and rights, altså nåværende rettigheter og bruk, som jo Nilen ikke kan la være å referere til, i og med den store viktigheten som både 59-avtalen har, og så mye avhengig som av vannet og de midler som kommer i dag. For å fylle det med litt mer innhold, det som vi snakket om på samarbeidet, det er altså benefit sharing, det å dele fordeler som kommer med bruken av vann. Så hvis Etiopia er en dam for kraftproduksjon, så kan de selge kraft til Sudan. Det gjør at Sudan kan være mer interessert i å godta at dammen bygges og kraften produseres, enn om de ikke fikk noen ting. Det de også kan gjøre, er at Sudan kan i større grad bruke vann til irrigasjon og produsere mer mat I løpet av året. Vi kanskje også kan selge til andre land, det også diskuteres, Midtøsten, Asia, hvor det diskusjon om matproduksjon og kjøp av det fra Sudan. Hvis vannet magasinert I gær, som vi nå ser. Men det igjen, fra Egypt, hvis ikke de får kjøpe maten, fordi da kan det komme mindre vann til Egypt. Og dette den type problemstillinger som har vært diskutert I Nilen-initiativet, og som også oppe nå I gær-diskusjonen. La meg da bare si at for dette tiden går om skal sikre til spørsmål. Nilen-initiativet har vært et initiativ som har vært støttet av mange giverland, men det har vært et initiativ som har vært gjort I Afrika, I Nilen-hovedstedene I stor grad, I Entebbe, I Kigali, I Addis, og I andre land, så lenge dette initiativet var på sitt høydepunkt, for å bygge kompetanse I Afrika for Nilen. Og det har vært bygd stor grad av kompetanse, men det er klart at institusjonen ikke etableres, så det fare for å problematisere. Norge kan støtte dette, det kan vi gjøre på sånne initiativ som dette. Vi kan også gjøre andre ting som å støtte nasjonale vannressursmyndigheter, slik at nasjonene evner å forvalte og ha egen kompetanse både I forhandlinger og egen forvaltningsregimer. Vi har støttet sivilt samfunn. Nilen-initiativ hadde en sivilt samfunnskomponent, altså hvor folk på landsbygder og skulle etablere dialog om bruk av vann og effektiv og mindre ressurskrevende bruk av vann, som også var en del av Nilen-initiativet. I 2010 så kom plutselig nyheten om at Etiopia går I gang med gær. Og der har det var jo en overraskelse fra Egypt, som Egypt var veldig, veldig negativ til, som Sudan også var negativ til I begynnelsen. Men som etter at Bashir I Sudan bestemte seg for å myke den sudanske organisasjonen, så besøkte han Gerd I desember 2013. Og I 2015 så var den egyptiske presidenten på besøk I Khartoum for å diskutere Gerd. Altså den dammen. Og det gjør at det nå mer samarbeid, men det fremdeles store uoverensstemmelser mellom landene om dette, om de tekniske studier av dammen, og om regimet for å drive dammen. Altså når skal du slippe inn vann, når skal du magasinere vann, hvor skal vannet brukes nedstrøms. Og det det store uoverensstemmelser mellom Etiopia og Egypt på dette. Det naturlig nok, så de har store forhold I dag. La meg gå bare kort nevne et par ting som også har vært nevnt allerede. Norge kan både støtte, som vi sier, grensekryssende arbeid. Vi kan jo støtte nasjonale organer som skal forvalte vann, eller vi kan støtte sivilt samfunn, som man har gjort. Eller vi kan støtte også sivilt samfunn som jobber med store globale avtaler. Globalconf fikk på et tidspunkt støtte for å være med denne konvensjonen, som var nevnt av Inge. 1997-konvensjonen om grensekryssende vassdrag. Og en annen konvensjon, UNECE-konvensjonen om grensekryssende vassdrag, som Norge har signert. Det 2 konvensjoner, men la meg ikke gå I detalj på det, men de regulerer hvordan landene skal jobbe sammen. Og poenget at det et prinsipp her som at oppstrømsland skal melde fra på forhånd hvis de tenker å bygge ut, men det skal nedstrømsland gjøre også. Hvorfor? Jo, fordi hvis nedstrømsland går I gang med kraftige utbygginger, så har du da begrepet preemptive use, altså de bruker av vann som kommer ned, som har betydning for hva oppstrømsland da kan gjøre på et senere tidspunkt. Derfor det slike prinsipper med I disse internasjonale avtalene. La meg da bare avslutte med å si at jeg har bodd I Khartoum og padlet på Nilen, akkurat der hvor blå Nilen og hvite Nilen møtes. Det helt fantastisk. Det så la meg bringe inn et sånn fritidsperspektiv også I dette. Veldig flott å padle på punktet hvor blå og hvite Nilen møtes I Khartoum.
Takk. Da tror jeg bare jeg skal be dere ta plassene her oppe alle sammen. Ja. Right. Med å switche til engelsk. So yeah, we'll take the second part in English, and if you want to ask questions in Norwegian, eller hvis dere ønsker å stille spørsmål på norsk, selvfølgelig må dere gjerne gjøre det, og så oversetter vi for panelen. Jeg har noen spørsmål jeg gjerne vil stille ut til panelet, men jeg antar at dere også har det. Så hvis dere må bare tenke å skrive ned, eller kaste det frem på noe som har svart på noen. Vær så god.
Jeg vil benytte anledningen. Det er en ting jeg ikke skjønner rent virksomhetsmessig. Altså, jeg har sorry. The problem of knowing what language one is talking, including what one is saying. Yeah. I didn't know I was talking in Norwegian. You know, I took a plane, Qatar plane once up, and they flew all up to the Tigris, and you could see the big dam there. I through the mist in Turkey, so I'm wondering if that's the dam you're talking about, and I could see physically how the water was led to Turkey. So my question now is, when you take some water, make it down and take some water and leave it somewhere else, the original place loses the water. But the thing I don't understand is, when you build a dam to have the energy, anyway, I understand there would be some lack of water while you're filling the dam, but why on the long run is that water doesn't get lost as it? Is it the evaporation, or what is it? That's one question, and that includes also the marshlands in Sudan there. You know, they're swimming about, so why does the water get lost? Why doesn't it go into the Nile anyway to be of benefit to Egypt? Is that the evaporation? Did I get my question clear? I understand when you take water somewhere else that it gets lost, but I don't understand why it's so lost if it's still there in those.
Yeah. Thank you. There was another question, yeah?
Well, I have a question about Egypt. Someone was saying that the Nile is the livelihood of Egypt. It's, they think, how to say, lives, or how do you say that in English?
The vein of life.
Vein of life. We all know that. And I'm just wondering, of course, I learned something new today. I never heard about Nereid doctrine, I must admit. It was very, very useful for me to find out. But I'm just wondering, when you discuss Egypt, I mean, when Egypt built its dam, the only consequences were some positive and also some negative, but that was for the Egyptians. When the Ethiopians and whoever now would like to build a dam, the consequences for Egypt will be disastrous, because the Nile is their only source of water, as far as I know. So, talking about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Norway, when you were representing the people of Norway in these discussions, what did you try? I won't say bribe, but what did you try to give Egypt in these discussions? I mean, what is positive for Egypt for this when they're building this big Gad dam? I saw, even last time I was in Cairo, they showed me that the level of the Nile has already gone down quite a bit, and they were saying that was because of Sudan, the marshlands, or whatever they're doing in Sudan. So what are you, or what can be offered to Egypt so that they kind of livelihood? Otherwise, Egypt will disappear as a country.
Thank you. I think there's several things for several people in the panel here. First, I'm also what we normally call samfunnsviter, so I'm a specialist in how the water disappears in different places. It's clear that in Ethiopia, for instance, the dam is a multi-use dam, which means it's also both for energy and also for irrigation. And so when you use the water for irrigation, the amount of water reduces. Also in some dams, the issue of evaporation is quite big, that water evaporates. And especially in the Egyptian Aswan Dam, it's a very high amount of evaporation. And in the wetlands, I would guess you also use water for irrigation and for farming. So, and also it spreads over a bigger area than in a river. Yeah, in the marshlands, I guess there are more evaporation than in a river. There might be some more technically to answer that question.
I just wanted to say something about the dams and generating electricity, because also this is an argument. I think the problem here is that using the same way that have been used since ever to create energy. We need to be creative. And it's not true that energy generated from water are clear energy, because I don't know how the environment of the water and the species that lives there will be affected. So in the dam, Eliso Dam, the free water that is arriving to Iraq won't be a free water. It will be water channeled by turbines and under control on a political decision of a government, which is the Turkish government. So there are two things. One, it's a total control of the water of the river, where to let water go out, which quantity, all of these details, and which quality of this water will arrive. And then actually, the Eliso Dam as itself is a part of a strategy, is a way of thinking, of using water, because there are a number of smaller dams will channel also water for irrigation. So this will accumulate more dams than what is now. So it's just a beginning of number of other dams. And the question of generating water should also be comforted with in which cost you will generate energy, and why you don't start investing in a real clear energy, not by blocking, rivers. And we are talking, of course, about.
Simon, there was a question.
Yeah. I think the similar things applies to the Nile as with youth and Tigris. When it comes to the question about evaporation, I think that is illustrated quite well in the 1959 agreement between that was mentioned on the Nile, which, when the Aswan was built, which quantified the volume water at Aswan, measured at Aswan, which was 50, and the allocations were 55.5 billion cubic meters to be spent, 18.5 by Sudan, and cubic meters annually for evaporation. So the storage of water certainly has a huge effect on evaporation of water. Now, the land upstream possibly would cause less evaporation of water than one would do. So these discussions had started prior to all the dams. The Aswan did not have been built. The Aswan is there. Probably higher evaporation than what the Earth will have. Input to that question. So storage of water certainly has an evaporative evaporation. Also the Sud in southern Sudan, the White Nile, we know that John Garang, he was the former president, and then he was killed in a helicopter crash 10 years ago. He did his PhD on the Jongle Canal, which was a canal to bring more water through the wetlands of Sud on the White Nile. um, which was heavily opposed by his group and was discussed by Sudan at that time, which was stopped. It's not finalized. But that would reduce the water in the wetlands and bring more water down, which could have huge environmental effects. Also now in this climate change, in the times of climate change. Yeah, I could have maybe I could have.
Yeah, I'd just like to take up on the point of sustainable hydropower, like that you were also mentioning, because in many hydropower, it leads to a lot of conflicts in many places in the world, but still it's the sustainable development of sustainable hydropower is also a concept that is being continuously developed. It involves such as fish passes. It involves such as, well, and also certain types of hydropower plants are not as damaging. The so-called run of the river are an example of the types that don't cause as much damage. But still, there's because, like you say, you don't take the water away for other passages. There is a barrier, and you need to create passes. It's a lot of research on how to pass either through the turbines but without being damaged, or to go on another place. It's maybe be laughing, but it's even.
It's towards the point where create conflicts for future generations. Looking at
they to
big company providing the turbine. So you see how it works, and actually some European banks and donors have played very positive role in postponing Liso Dam. Otherwise, the dam would be functioning now. So there is something is in a very weak position to talk about water now. They talk about weapons, and actually the international community is only thinking about, you know, defeating Daesh. And Daesh is not something that goes from nowhere. Reflection of a conflict that has roots. And if you want to face extremism in the Middle East, you need to deal with the roots. Because we had before something called Al-Qaeda. Now we don't hear about. We hear about Daesh, no? And maybe there will be something else in the future. Conflict. And water is one of the elements on the conflict. Extremism. And that's, so defeating now Daesh, it's just a matter of...
It is quite clear that if we postpone working with water till we have ended all armed conflicts, there will not be much water to share.
On the political challenges in the Euphrates Tigris are challenging, as illustrated here, and with the Turkey as a strong hegemon upstream. I think Turkey, when it comes to the UN Water Courses Convention on transboundary on cooperation on transboundary waters, I might be wrong, but I think there were 3 countries not even signing the agreement. And one of them was Turkey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And the other one was Burundi, and there was a third one. That didn't even want to have cooperation.
add more.
Yeah, please. Thanks. I got two questions that are kind of interrelated, I guess. One being, what's the influence of or multinational company? To what extent can they control, for example? And then related to that, both for electricity but also for food, which was mentioned for food production. I'd like to shed a light on not only a country perspective, but within the country perspective. So who are winners and who are losers? It's not only a problem of availability of electricity and food, but of accessibility, which is essentially a question of distribution.
Yeah. You know, we go to Collins to answer the question on sorry. Just shortly on electricity and the role of Western companies. Of course, as Ismail mentioned, big companies are needed to build a dam because it's quite technically complex, and most states don't have that. So a lot of big companies are involved in building the dam, but very frequently state companies are owning the dam. So electricity, you can't like put it on a boat and sell it somewhere else. You have to sell it on a grid, and the grid is mostly nationally owned. And so the state has very big in what to pay for the power. That's a contract between private companies and I totally agree with you on the reflection on who does the power come to, or who benefits from hydropower, because who gets electricity in their houses is pollution, and in this case it's quite clear that most of the electricity will be distributed in Turkey and not in Iraq. So Iraq, which is downstream, will use water and influence, but not get much in return. I see we have several here.
Yeah.
At least Ture, you wanted to comment on Ismail and send
Yes.
It's a very interesting question, I think, because all the countries I know, they have big plans for selling electricity. I don't know how these things are regulated, but like I did attend a meeting a couple of years ago, and they had huge plans to sell electricity all the way to Spain. The map of the grids and everything. I think it's always a sort of ethical dilemma also. I've lived and twice I've lived in small villages where electricity for the first time. And it's a huge development for a place to have like a small bulb where school children can finally read, and don't have to sit there with a small handheld light, and they can have electricity that the local hospital can have a fridge. Huge thing. And it was useful for those small villages as well. So I'm always telling them, people need electricity. We need the electricity. We need some dams. When it comes to big action, I think it's very interesting what's happening now in Uganda. We see that the land along the Nile on both sides are being bought up. And we have had a researcher that's trying to see who's buying all this land. And it's big companies, and the companies are big multinational farming companies, some of them based in Oklahoma, some of them based in South Africa. And huge tracts of land on both sides of the money that's, at least in this case, been used to pay for that land. It all comes through Bank of Egypt. So where the real owners are, to say. But of course, with climate change, everything that's affecting the flow of water. Water is power, and water is power for big multinational companies as well. And so it's a very interesting question.
So in Iraq and in the region, big multinational companies are very important to not to run it and to promote the that is dams and important for this big industry. To give you one example from Iraq, it's really an extreme example, but I think it's important. You heard about Mosul Dam, a dam that was built by Western companies, you know, German and Italy, which is not sustainable at all. That is now might collapse, and there are 1 million people at risk if this dam will collapse in Mosul. And now the companies, it's a Trevi, the Italian company, have proposed maintaining this dam because it's sustainable. So they will maintain it for some years. The government will need to pay money to sustain again the dam that is not ever sustainable. So, you know, and these dams has costs. And these costs, if we, I mean, if they have, you know, shifted their attention, investment and money to alternative, you know, technologies, that a big part of the problem would be solved. Moment, Trevi is in Iraq, a national company working on maintaining Mosul Dam with 500 soldiers from the Italian company that is sustaining, that is rebuilding a dam or functioning a dam that is not sustainable. It's nonsense, but that's business for these people. Not all of them, but some of them, yes, for sure.
And Simon, you have asked.
Yeah, just,
I'll just add a question onto that. On UNESCO protection, and you are saying the UN Waterways Convention. There are two conventions, you said, but Turkey has not signed these. Is it so that by not signing these, are Turkey free from any prosecution from international organizations or in the international domain? Is what we can do only to cooperative forums, or are there other international societies?
Well, I'm not that into international legislation on what you can do in that sense, but of course it means something of cooperation and political aspects without cooperating with your neighbors. There's no vehicle, I think, in the transboundary cooperation convention on doing that. That just is the principle on how to cooperate. I would sign up to this. That's what has happened here, and that might happen in other places as well. Like in Mekong, China is not a part of the Mekong River Commission. They don't want to sign up to that same principle and cooperate with the downstream countries, Laos, Bangkok, Cambodia, and Vietnam. But now gradually they do cooperate. They haven't signed up to that, come in to that treaty and the commission. That's just another example where they are pragmatic and they do more. A quick response to your question about the prices. Well, that's normally what is in. It could be, and that could be an example of the term benefit sharing. So upstream and downstream could be mutually interested in cooperating on the construction of a dam. If one country builds a dam and another country is able to benefits by purchasing the power. Also when it comes to the construction of the dams on the Nile. So that was one of the elements which was discussed in the Nile-based initiative. And the prices would normally be set by when
Centralizing whatever industry.
Thank you. There's a short question here, and then I'll just
the two together. What is are we currently seeing in terms? It seems like you should kind of build the dam as soon as possible, because then you're in a better negotiation and start the cooperation afterwards. Kind of situation we have now. Looking at your own interest to go forward for a country that has the resources.
Yeah, well, I first want to use the opportunity to just, I think that with regard to sustainability of it's about the benefit sharing between states, about within the states, and the different with regard to the GAD's situation. Well, they took the risk and they started constructing the dam without consulting, without informing, without following the went okay. I think well, first there are no one solution. I don't think we have seen the end. It hasn't. It's under construction. If they manage to coordinate, if this approach is managed, or considering this sharing, that it may work. In other cases, it will just lead to greater instability and conflict. So I don't think they have seen that actually.
Yeah, today Uganda, agriculture first. Egypt, agriculture in Uganda. What is big multinational through Egypt, but it's Egyptian money, I think. Big multinational companies seeing water sort of a power base also. To have water for agriculture available. The same in South Sudan. Lots of land is being sold in South Sudan. Totally agree with you. I don't think we have seen the last of this. It's very interesting now to see what happens with the unrest in Ethiopia currently going on. But now it's not at all. I heard latest this morning from a colleague who's trying to get to the airport in Addis. It's very unstable. So how this will affect the guard and all this, and we have had all the change in governments in Egypt, and I'm not seeing the end of this.
Thank you. So at this moment, I was presenting the position of my campaign, which is against large dams, full stop. But I just wanted to say that in the short term, you need to negotiate with Turkey, with Iran about how to run the existing dam, not to build dam without having an impact study about what's happening, what will happen. You share, and this is also part of international customary law. It's not only something that you can accept or not. It's there. So this is one thing. This is for the short term. I think like the Nile Initiative or such initiatives deals with the reality now. But this is not for long term. You need to change mentality. They will never be large dams. They will never be large because their costs are heavy. So I hope that a friend of us in the campaign from Turkey is presenting his PhD study about dam removal, that we are looking forward for sustainable solutions for energy so that the cost of the dams is not worthy to build them. So you think about removing them, and it's happening. It happened in America, it happened in Germany, where you start removing them because they are not a solution.
Well, there are many issues here. I think I don't completely agree with you. I think Norway is an example where we have benefited a lot of dams. So we have this power here from generating hydroelectricity in Norway. So we just have to admit that. It also comes to this region. You said what is into this? What is into this project, like Gerd or other, for those countries? Well, of course, social development, economic development. That's also into the country that builds the dam, but also neighbor countries that want a stable region. And it's highly relevant to look for how to support this, stabilization in the region of the Nile.